We'll start with Bad Neighbours 2.
Yes, we should, shouldn't we? So, Bad Neighbours 1, you saw this in the cinemas, didn't you?
I did not.
No.
I was warned off it because Tom, obviously our friend from college, he saw it and he said it was rubbish, and I didn't bother. And then I saw it when it came out on DVD, and I was mildly impressed by it.
Oh yeah, but I just saw it the other week, and I was fairly impressed, I guess. I mean, I thought that maybe it could have. I mean, it's just what it was. I mean, I said this to you on the way down, didn't I, after the film, that it's sort of like Seth Rogen's become the king of acceptable comedies. Like with the interview, which I thought was really fine. Yeah. It had some really good laughs, and on the whole, it was fine. So again, it could have been. It is what it is, and I think he gets a lot of slack for being,
safe.
I think he do. Well, no, but I think he does get a lot of slack. Do you not think Seth Rogen gets a lot of unnecessary slack?
Well, you mean people don't
unnecessary criticism? Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's the opposite of slack. Then.
Yeah. So yeah.
No, I don't think he's criticised enough. I think he's appreciated too much.
Oh, right. Fair enough.
I think especially after the back of this, but I'll not say why.
Yeah, he does kind of fly under the radar. Like people get called up for doing the same thing over and over again, and he kind of does the same thing again. Yeah, but he does get laughs, so I guess.
Yeah.
But this time around, this film, I mean, it's called Neighbours 2: Sorority Rising in America, and if you didn't know already, they've changed it from Neighbours to Bad Neighbours here because the marketers thought that we might get it mixed up for an actual Neighbours the soap film. As if that would have been happening. Some people, I mean,
you never know.
Same director, Nicholas Stoller, but again, we've got the parents of Seth Rogen and Byrne, their young parents. They've had their kid from the first one now, and now they're having another kid, and basically the frat from the last one has moved out. They've all moved on with their lives, apart from Zac Efron, who's still stuck in the past and he can't get a job because he didn't study in college. And now sorority is moving in next door, led by Chloe Moretz, and it's based on an actual. I didn't know this as an actual thing in America. Like sororities can't host their own parties. That is a thing. That's not a hook for the film. It's actually a thing. So like they are just setting up their own sorority so they can prove that they can party just as hard as the men can. And it's like the first one for me. I laughed about as much, but I think to its credit, it's a lot smarter. Like there's a lot of there's a lot more mature cultural undertones within there. Like there's a lot of it's quite a bit on the nose at times, but I think it's got better messages than the first one. The first one was just sort of like a straight and narrow bro comedy, the adults against the the frats. But like this time there's a lot more balance between the two, and I think it does have more intelligence than it should really for a Seth Rogen comedy, and I think that's to its credit. But I mean, as a comedy strictly, it didn't have us laughing like every second. But it just sort of did its job, really, I think, because it got you to laugh when it wanted you to laugh, and it left me satisfied at the end. So, again, just like a lot of Seth Rogen's stuff, it did leave me satisfied. So
it's not funny enough. It's been described as gag a minute, laugh a minute. It's not gag a minute, not laugh a minute. It's very lucky if it scores a gag every 2 minutes. It tries and tries and tries to wring out some laughs from a premise that was kind of already dead on arrival because they've done it already. It's the same film as last time. It's not smarter than the first one. It tries to be smarter than the first one, and it ends up with confused messages about parenthood, about adolescence, and in the end, it just made me angry because it's not represent. Well, actually, it is. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm angry at the film or angry at our kind of culture. I don't know if I'm angry at young people because it does. The film does a good job of summing up just how stupid young people can be.
That's not bitter at all.
And it's insulting. I think it's insulting not just to young people, but also to the so-called old people that this film constantly, makes reference to them as.
Well, it's just sort of the classic, the youth versus the old, isn't it? Really, I don't think
it's
anything
disrespectful. I don't sound like it's like. Cause I'm not like an old fuddy-duddy person here. I am just turned 20. I thought I was 19 there. I wish I was.
Yeah. Well, our age.
I think if I was a older person, I'm not going to say old person that the film wants you to believe, I'd be a bit insulted because I think the film to me promotes the idea of putting partying over real life, and this, I mean, it tries to wrap it up with a neat little bow at the end by saying, we can work together, the same as the first film, we can work together, we're not just going to be irresponsible and immature, we can be friends, we can be adults too. It just doesn't work. It's not fun. It's not a funny film. It's certainly not as funny as the first one. The jokes that it recycles from the first one, as all of these sequels do, recycling the same jokes, expecting the same result. No, I'm done. Well, I'm nearly done.
Alright, you got anything else? That was almost a rant.
I probably do.
That was almost.
The thing is, it's not like a rant-worthy film because there's far worse films than it. And I'm surprised to see it's getting so much praise for a film that I think people expect too little from comedies. I think I've been broken by crap sequels and crap comedies to the fact that like this just doesn't cut it for me. This might be funny. Like the hardest I laughed in this film was when people I like from other shows that I do like turned up. So you've got Hannibal Buress turns up for a little bit. He's fine. You've got Abby Jacobson from Broad City. Again, she's funny, but not really given a funny role here. Billy Eichner is funny in this, but that's kind of the only reason I was laughing, because I was like, "Ha! Look at them! I've seen them before." The actual jokes aren't funny.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
For me, at least, I think considering it is a recycled premise, they've managed to make enough freshness on it to actually work. And considering how many bad comedy sequels there are, far too many to even think of, never mind count or name or list. The fact that it's managed to do what it can and still be as funny, for me at least, and still have some quite good social commentary. I mean, there was one joke which is far too dark to even mention on the radio.
I know which one you mean. I
could not stop. Like I was on the floor, Nelly. It was really good. But I think it does deserve the credit personally, because for me it's its moments. It's a slight notch above the first one, I think, because it is a bit smarter, and it's not just like straight down the line. It tries to be a bit different, and considering it is a recycled premise, they've done well with it.
I have the feeling that if I go back and watch the first one, I'll like it less. I think with all these comedies, they're kind of one and done. Like you couldn't watch these many times and still find them funny. And I think the fact
it's like party films, aren't they? These kind of you know, like you stick it on in the background, you stick it on late at night when you like.
Can we talk about Chloe Grace Moretz? Now, earlier in the year we saw The Fifth Wave, and she didn't really cut it there.
No.
This is her sort of first foray into comedy. You know, now that she's kind of old enough to get these kind of roles, she's not really a child anymore. She is kind of a young adult now. Do you think she like inhabits the role well?
Well, she still is only 19, to her credit, but she's got a lot of growth she can still do. But I mean, like. It's strange because I think she does have talent. She's maybe not got the right roles.
Yeah.
Maybe her agent is a bit naff. But I mean, looking here, she's in the pre-production. Pre-production currently for The Little Mermaid as the title, so that could be quite good.
That could work.
Yeah. She's also 2 films currently in post-production called November Criminals and Brain on Fire, where she's the lead in the second one. But the first one, this first one, November Criminals, basically a teenager taking on the lead in an investigation, so that could be a chance for her to shine in that.
Veronica Mars.
Yeah, and in Brain on Fire, where she's the star, it's a biographical drama where it's a woman's descent into insanity, so another dramatic chance for her. I mean, you saw her in Carrie, didn't you? The remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, she's fine.
I mean, she's got a brief role in Clouds of Sils Maria as well.
Oh yeah, she's quite good.
Yeah, and she's the English voice for the Princess Kaguya animation as well as the Princess Kaguya. So
I think she'll once she finds what she's best at, I think that'll be great. But I think as of yet, she hasn't quite hit her stride.
Personally, I just can't forget that turn in movie 43.
No one came off well.
No.
I think Seth Rogen.
How has Hugh Jackman still got a career after that film?
At least it was only. It was only.
Yeah. I guess it's because he's an Aussie.
It was a lot of small parts. I think
he's too cool to battle.
Yeah. Seth Rogen. I think having seen him in Steve Jobs, where he's good, and then having seen him in something like this, where he's kind of just Seth Rogen. What can you tell me without looking at the screen what the character names are for the couple, or anyone in this film for that matter?
No.
It's just Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just Seth Rogen.
It's just Seth Rogen in every film he does. I could not have told you who the characters were.
Yeah.
But that's what films are like nowadays. If you think like Kevin Hart, like he's doing a similar thing. Like he's got the new film coming out with The Rock.
Yeah.
Which is basically just the film he did with Ice Cube again, Ride Along.
Yeah.
Which is basically that again. Obviously you got Seth Rogen, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn have been doing the same thing for years. Adam Sandler, Eddie Murphy. Just kind of where it goes, really, isn't it? Yeah. It's kind of you pay to see the personality, not the character.
Yeah, I think the character criticism is pretty blaze because I mean, like, if you look at, The Horrible Bosses. Could you name any of the 3 main character names from that?
Dale is Charlie Day.
Yeah.
I can't think of the rest.
Yeah.
Like not right in this box. We've got to do radio show.
Yeah,
but like, I think people. And I know Ryan liked it. I'm not trying to say he's wrong, even if I sort of am.
Yeah.
I think like we should expect more from comedy. We shouldn't have to take this kind of mashed up, like reprocessed baby food, which this essentially
you've said
is.
safe quite a lot. since the film ended, and in this.
It is safe.
Yeah.
Like these are 15 rated films, which means they can get away with only a certain amount, and that's all they do. Like they don't because obviously there's not as much money to be made if it's an 18 because you lose.
What's the definition of edgy now though? Like,
well, it doesn't need to be edgy. It just needs to be funny.
I think a prime example of that is like 21, 22 Jump Street.
yeah, exactly.
That's a good comedy. That's smart as well, and
inverted the formula.
you know it doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's good, and you know the character names, you know the plot line, and even though 2 is kind of like names. You know with the bad neighbours, like 1 and 2, pretty much the exact same plot.
Yeah.
Same with 1 and 2 with Jump Street, but they just do it in
well.
much a better way, and you don't necessarily have to address it's a sequel because that's kind of been done now. You've got to play to your character strengths and stuff like that, and with a premise like that, there is ways you can do, like different routes you can go. With a plot like Bad Neighbours, you're kind of like stuck in the same old routine. Really, there's not a lot you could do with it unless you were going like absolutely OTT with it. It's
another film that has a really unnecessarily confusing plot, and I think my final point before I end this, because I'm bored of it now. Zac Efron is kind of in his mid-20s, and he's already at the stage where he's kind of burned out, and this is the kind of thing he's been reverted to doing. Like Dirty Grandpa was insulting on his part. I mean, while we sort of stuck up for the film for not being quite as horrible and rubbish as everyone said it was, he shouldn't be doing these kind of roles. He can't act, and he needs a better agent. Simple as that.
Yeah, he tried to go the DiCaprio route when he first started off. Tried to go for some more serious roles. That didn't pan out. Obviously, box office, and he's just taking comedy role after comedy roles. And
he shouldn't have to. Just like us, we shouldn't have to put up with it. You shouldn't have to put up with Zach. And I think, just on a whole, just work harder, Hollywood. Just work harder.
Just back Zach.
Yeah, hashtag back Zach.
Just back Zach.
Just back Zach.
We'll get some t-shirts done. We're on your side, Zach. Anyway, that's Bad Neighbours 2. It is in cinemas now. I do not recommend it.
I recommend it.
But Ryan does, and that's fine.